I want to start with the psychology of it from her point of view, because I have not, for the record, spoken to either her or her staff about this at all. But I suspect that this optics was one of the reasons that she disinvited him in the first place. That the State of the Union involves ritualized shows of chumminess. From the time the president walks in and everybody gives a sort of demonstrative standing ovation, despite what they may be muttering under their breath, and there's these warm handshakes and hugs, and then, and if you are doing that in her house, and this is literally her house, and you're doing it in an environment in which the government is shut down and large segments of the Democratic base believe that you're not being confrontational enough, right? The optics of that are really bad for her. And I think that's a big part of what drove her to make sure that this doesn't happen until she wins. Now flip that on its head. She's won. And he has to walk in there and and he has to hug her, give a warm handshake at a minimum, right? They have to smile at each other. And then he has to give a speech in which he doesn't get to see what she's doing. And she gets to smirk the whole time from a position above him, looking down on him. Now, that is bad. Just like, I don't know how much thought the White House has put into that, but that's 50 minutes of her getting to do things like this. Or this. Right? These little micro movements of the face that everybody will be tweeting about. Everybody will be noticing when she does clap and when she doesn't clap. Everybody will be noticing these little things that she does. And look, one thing we have learned about Nancy Pelosi in the last, for people who didn't already know it, is that she's a professional. And unlike Donald Trump, by the way, she actually thinks about these things and she knows what she's doing here and she behaves pretty strategically. And so I think this is I agree with John that he may decide that the right way to deal with this problem is to trample on a lot of norms and to violate the rules. I do think that the rules of this confrontation, this next phase, dramatically disfavor him in the optics of his interactions with her, and it shows up as having lost to her. He has to stand beneath her while she smiles and he gives a speech in the context of his defeat. And I think that's a very tricky political situation for him.